growing a team versus delegating versus outsourcing. They're all different. It's episode 212 of the Marketing for Owners podcast with John Butt. Butt, that's me. Here I am, another day, another short lesson of my experiences that help me, they help my team, and I know it's going to help you. One of the most important things you can do to progress your business and to make your life easy in general is to build a team. Another thing you can do is to delegate, and another thing you can do is to outsource. And the reason I want to talk about this today is because many people confuse them and think they are the same. I would contend that they are not the same. First of all, let's talk about outsourcing. For me, I outsource every single day, and of course it gets a little confusing because some of my team outsource on my behalf. But for example, this here podcast will be outsourced for the transcription that will become the basis for the show notes and the post. If you want to know, by the way, how to get to the show notes and the post, go to the website at marketingforowners.com/podcast/212, or the number of the podcast. In fact, if you go to /just podcast, you'll find they are all there. You can look back through the archive at this and the other 211. But that's going to be outsourced to a transcription service. Now, we also outsource to transcription people on Fiverr. There are some that are excellent, there are some that aren't so good, but hey, $5, £3.50, who cares? If it doesn't work out, get someone else to do it. But make sure you give good instructions. Now, my favourite other one for outsourcing is freelancer.com. And then there's other sources, there's many. There were Elance and Odesk, and they're now called Upwork. We're going to talk about that in a little while. But outsourcing for me means kind of one-off tasks. One-off tasks where you need to use a specialist that you do not have in-house. For example, let me think. If we need some very, very complex video editing or music editing or something like that, or some programming work, or we wanted to create a little program script to do something faster, if we had a large, spreadsheet data analysis job, we can have someone create a script for sort of $30 or something to do that. These specialist things that we have no idea how to do, we outsource those. We outsource them to freelancers who are specialists and who choose to do this in their spare time or as their job, and they can choose, they of course can be anywhere in the world. They can be round the corner just round the corner from me in the UK. We've found people on Freelancer before that are just down the road and use them via Freelancer. We can also, they could be in other parts of the world, say in Australia or in India or China or Vietnam, absolutely anywhere. It's fantastic where you can find people, very talented people, and who speak excellent English. Quite often there are English people who are living in those countries, or English-speaking people living in those countries or travelling the world who will do your work. They tell you what price they're going to do it for. It's going to be less than normal. Next, there's delegating. Now, delegating is when you have a task, something that you need to do, you don't have time, or it's not one of your core specialities. It is not the ideal work you should be doing. You must be good at something, and you must be not so good at other things. Okay? So for me, for example, marketing is not Marketing is something I don't tend to outsource because it is what I love to do. However, things to do with the delegate, I meant not outsource, finance and stuff like that, that tends to be delegated, or tasks such as spreadsheet manipulation, things like that, I'm not brilliant at. I tend to delegate that to somebody in my staff or in my team who is much, much better than me. Now, what is important, I've discussed delegating quite a lot. You need to understand that when you delegate, you are giving a job to somebody else to do. Hopefully, that person is going to be better than you. They've got more time, they've got better skills, they've got access to better training. It's just a better use of your work. So do not instruct them too much on how to do it. Let them do it. The reason you're asking is they know how to use Excel, say. So don't start telling them what you know about it, because they probably think you may be hopeless and you may be telling them the wrong way, but because you're the boss, they're obliged to listen, and possibly then they feel obliged to do it your way, even though they don't think it's right. Be careful with delegating, but it is an essential skill for the entrepreneur or business owner to learn. Without it, you will get nowhere fast. Finally, building a team. Now, building a team is different. You can create a team with outsourcers, but outsourcers are freelance people who bid on jobs one at a time. Now, you can use them again and again and again, but they don't tend to have any form of retainer. So if you go to Fiverr, you can't really pay someone to be on retainer and be available. So are they part of your team? You can use them over and over again. Now, we have graphics people we've used over and over for years on Fiverr, but they're not part of my team because sometimes they go on holiday. I don't know when they're on holiday. They're not going to tell me because I haven't got any jobs coming out. They do the jobs as I give them to them. I don't really regard that as part of the team. When you delegate to members of your team. So you need to make one. Now this can be staff, or in the case of marketing for owners, so we have so at the moment we have 3 writers, have a video editor, have my assistant, but my assistant Jennifer isn't really my assistant. Jennifer is the content editor. She does so much, makes it sound like she's just my assistant. She isn't. Jennifer does lots. I've never had any kind of personal assistant in my entire life. I would not know how to work with one. I wouldn't know what to do with them. I've always done stuff for myself. I have to learn to delegate it to better people. But Jennifer is multi-skilled. And as we build the team, we also have Claire, who creates creates graphic work and creates courses and creates videos and edits videos in that type. So, and we have Harvey, who edits audios. It's a diverse team, but they are on call. They all receive work regularly every single month, and they're virtually guaranteed a payment. In fact, as the business builds, I expect them to be given more work and possibly then eventually offered a full-time job. But they can stay wherever they are. They are my team, and that team will build, and it will build. So remember, you can outsource tasks and you can delegate, but after all, you want a solid, reliable team, one that gets to know you, gets to know your working systems, and gets to build your business for you and help you. I hope that all makes sense. Makes sense in my head anyway. But today is Tuesday, and it's time for a toolbox tip, and one of those is for helping for outsourcing and so on. This is Upwork.com. The reason I'm pointing out Upwork is because in the past I've recommended Elance. I use Elance all the time, but Elance merged with Odesk, which is another similar organization, trying to compete with the mighty freelancer.com that we use all the time. You might say, why do you use that? Well, I found that Freelancer is good for programming, graphics, things like that. Elance is excellent for writing and certain types of job. But now they are merged. They are called Upwork.com. So if you go to Upwork, you'll find all the people who are on Odesk, all the people who are on Elance. It's become much, much bigger. They've got a very modern interface, which makes it much easier to use. I recommend you go there, try it. It is a fabulous tool to have in your arsenal. Anyway, well, I'll be back tomorrow with another great tip, and it will be a Wednesday friendly follow. See you then.